Welcome to the Cornish Fishmongers kitchen, where we play with food and create great flavours. And welcome to my son Jack, who's the other Cornish fishmonger, and I am Rob. Today we're going to have a look at our double Fruits De Mer. It is a double, isn't it?
It is a double, so it's perfect for two people. We do also sell a single, so any multiples of 2, 1, 3s, as many people as you want, we sell it all.
Fruits De Mer is just such a lovely hands-on experience of eating. But anyway, let's get into the box. First of all, by the way, this box is waterproof, but it's also completely recyclable. So you've not got anything to worry about in wastage. These paper liners, they keep your fish cool, but they're also completely recyclable. Nice little card in here, talks on the back about some shellfish, which is very useful. Obviously, as we've got, this box is packed with fresh shellfish. In here, we've got our Cornish Fishmonger gel pack. Now these guys keep your fish cold and chilled and in great condition, and they'll happily go into your freezer. They love going to supermarkets to keep your food cold, and they're great for picnics. But once you get, you've had enough of them, open the top, defrost, pour down the drain, totally safe, and dispose of the plastic in your usual recycling. Okay, so I've got a cooked lobster here with all the details on it. There you are, Jack.
Oh, beautiful. I love lobster, one of my favourites.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? And a cooked Cornish crab. Sometimes that's dressed, but it's a good chap. Again, all the label, all the information's there.
Again, another one of my favourites.
Some cooked crevettes, or prawns, ready to eat.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, they are nice, aren't they? Because I like peeling them. Mussels that have been cooked and steamed, ready to eat.
Another one of my favourites. I'm definitely a shellfish fiend.
Oh, these are all your favourites, aren't they?
They are.
Got a slight change. You've got some live oysters. If you see the holes in the pots, don't worry. It's just to allow a bit of air in.
And we'll dive into those a little bit later. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, there's a story around those, isn't there?
There is.
And finally, we've got a box here. On this occasion, it's clams. Sometimes it's cockles or a mix. Just depends what we can get from our suppliers. Over to you.
Beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
And finally, not for consumption, but just again to keep the fish cold, we've got another Cornish Fishmonger gel pack. So I'm just going to get rid of this out of the way, and then we'll get on to putting together the Fruits De Mer. So, we're going to build our Fruits De Mer, and this is the best bit really. I've got a nice white dish. I like white because it gives a lovely contrast. And I've got the ice that we've talked about, nice crushed ice, going to keep it all fresh. So, I always like to put the lobster in first because it's a centrepiece, and I split this one and it'll arrive split to you. It's your choice really. And I've separated the claws. So, first thing off is I need to put the bodies into the middle of the dish. And I've already taken off the rubber bands that the fishermen use, so that's only to keep the claws closed. Jack, there's a story about these lobsters, isn't there?
There are. Speaking of the fishermen, these will be Cornish lobsters, obviously the best lobsters. We've got a couple of fishermen out of St Maur's, Barney and John, who have also caught the crab. You've been buying their fish for years, haven't you, Dad?
Yes, I have. Gosh, yes. I mean, I've known Barney and his father and all the family. That's really rather nice, actually, because they're friends and we just work together. And there's always lots of chit-chat about where they're catching and what they're doing and how they're getting on, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I have a great relationship with Barney, and we have a couple of other fishermen at the North Coast as well. Cornwall helps with the weather. We've got a great supply of Cornish lobsters from around the coast.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's all inshore, small boats, and we supply bait to them, and they bring our shellfish, and we all work together. It's a lovely relationship. I've got a crab here. And sometimes we'll send you dressed crab, sometimes we'll send you whole crab. It just depends on what's available. Just to dress a crab, and I'm not suggesting we're going to do all of this here, because I like to put it onto the plate, and you can do it during the meal. It's much nicer. But you just need to break the base out of the crab like that, and all you have to do is just remove these little bits. They're known as the dead man's fingers, but of course they're not. They are just the lungs of the crab, and there's claws and legs on there. So I'm going to pop that there in the middle.
And all the meat is in the centre of the body, and the claws, otherwise known as the husk. Then you've got a little bit of brown meat in the body, but the white meat is my favourite.
Yeah. And if you're clever, and I'll probably muck this up, you can break off the edge of the shell and take off that edge, and then I need a pick, which I'm going to use, and the only bit you need to take out apart from the lungs is just the mouth there, and then you've got the brown meat which you can break open, move around. Very much depends on the time of the year as to how the crab is coloured, depends on whether it's carrying any roe or not. Some people like to mix this with a bit of breadcrumb, some people don't like it at all, but you know, it's your Fruits De Mer, so you do exactly as it is that you would like. And so I'll put that underneath there, so that's that. Good. Okay, so now it's put all the bits together, and this is the fun bit. I'm going to place the cockles and the clams, and whilst I'm doing that, Jack, if you could sort the oysters, that'd be great.
I will definitely do some oysters.
Tell us a story about the oysters, because I think it's really rather personal. It's lovely.
Fantastic. So these oysters are from Tim down at Porthley Shellfish, up on the north coast. If you don't know where Porthley is, or Rock, it's just opposite Padstow. I've been there, so if you want to have a little bit more of an in-depth view as to where we get our oysters and mussels from, you can check that video out on our website. So I'm going to show you all how to shuck an oyster. So shucking an oyster can be quite daunting, but actually it's all in the tool that you use. So here we've got our Cornish Fishmonger oyster shuck, which we sell on the website, so if you want to pick one up along with your Fruits De Mer box, it's absolutely perfect for that. So to shuck an oyster, if you haven't done it before, I would suggest grabbing a towel, place the oyster in the towel in the palm of your hand. You want to hold the blade quite close to the tip to make sure that you don't cut yourself. You want to insert the tip into the hinge and just apply a bit of twisting, a bit of pressure into the hinge. Not too far that you go into the meat, but just enough that you can break that hinge. You want to twist the blade once it's in, and you'll hear it pop. You want to keep those juices in there. Probably get rid of the towel now. So it's off there. You've got a sharp edge and a blunt edge to the blade. You want to just twist that off and then get the sharp edge and run that across the roof of the oyster to release the mussel from the shell. There we are. Perfectly clean lid. There's your oyster, and just release it. There's a little mussel at the back, so just get the sharp point of your blade, cut that off and just release it, and there is a perfect oyster to eat. Okay, so Jack, whilst I place the rest of the shellfish, can you do the oysters please? Absolutely.
So as you can see, we've got the lobster and the crab, and we've talked about that. We've got one of the oysters here. Jack's going to finish the rest of it off. We've got the cockles and the clams. We're going to place some mussels, and it really is down to the way you want to lay it out. But it just, there's such lovely colours here. You can't help but make I think it's always exciting, and this type of food is real, and you can just spend your time enjoying it. You need some nice bread because that's going to sop up the juices. Maybe a bit of unsalted butter, and you also want your choice of wine, maybe if you like wine. The Albarino that comes from northern Spain is just perfect for this. It's got a lovely kind of acidity, salty flavour. It goes so well with shellfish. But you know, if you're a French Pouillet Fumé from the Loire or Sancerre is great. Or if you don't do wine, then find some dry cider. Just a thought. Probably enough.
There's a lot more here than you think, isn't there?
There is actually. I mean, I've just got to put the king prawns in, but I think there's spare shellfish here. In actual fact, I think there's a message here. If you keep the shells of the lobster and the crab, you can break them down and roast them off or smash them up, put some water with some garlic, a little bit of onion and some herbs, and you can make a stock. And then I feel a seafood tagliatelle coming on with what's left, because you've got clams and cockles, got some mussels, and if you don't want all the king prawns, you could do some of those, and you've just got a bit of a free dish. So 2 for 1, can't be bad. How are you getting on with those?
I am on the last one, but I'm just running out of room. I'm debating whether I'm going to...
Yeah, well, it's quite a plateful, isn't it? So I think you just... I'll move some of these for you. We'll pop them in there.
We'll put them on top.
Absolutely, because they're all going to get eaten. And
absolutely.
Can you pass me a lemon, please? And I'll have a little bit of... Steady. And I'll have a little bit of parsley, please. If you could not throw that, that would be great. Because you know what I'm like, I can't catch. Thank you.
That one.
Lemons, I've cut them in half because lemons and seafood, I mean, they are an absolute must. So I don't know where I'm going to put those. I think I'll pop them one there and one there. No, I'm not. I'm going to pop one there and one there. And then some sprigs of parsley. It really is for decoration, but
brings a nice bit of colour.
Yeah, it brings a bit of colour just around the lobster. And well, I think there we are. We've talked about mayo, we've talked about garlic aioli and the things that might want to go with it, but I think that's an absolute feast. And there's a good plateful for two, and it's just beautiful. I really hope you enjoy.